videos are pretty much all starting the same this week. With me sitting in front of the skidder letting it warm up. Just a couple trees left to cut, and Dad's already shot off on the Ranger to go tackle those. I don't even think I'll take a saw with me since there's just 2 of them. To be quite honest with you, I'm a little nervous to even put my 500 on the back of that skidder, because sometimes those saws fall off. And the way my luck's been the last couple weeks, that 500 would fall off and find its way right under the lugs of that tire. And then I'd be pretty upset. Anyway, majority of these are bucked. We've got just maybe 20 of them. 20, 25, I don't know, left to go. Dad will mark those probably as I'm getting these other 2 out. Then I put a chisel chain on that 500 this morning because I honestly prefer the chisel, especially when it comes to bucking. So I put a chisel chain on that. I'm going to let Dad run that 500i to see what he thinks of it. I really think once he runs it, I think he's going to want one of them. So he was asking me a little bit about it yesterday. So this thing should be warm enough to go. Jump on here, head back that way. I'm not even real sure where he's at over there, but I'm quite certain I can probably find him. Obstructing that crossing from this angle. Some little snagged and blew down. We'll try to keep that clean. We'll probably come through here with the skid steer, kind of work on that approach a little bit. We don't even need that crossing. We're not going to use that crossing. But still, we want to try to keep everything looking good. Now usually whenever we got a pretty good pile of logs, I try to get a kind of a, what I call an aerial view. This is on top of the cab of the skidder. I keep these pictures. I've got a photo album of what Dad and I have done over the years. It's nice to look back through them and see kind of what we've done and where we've done it at. And it's a lot of the pictures that I take like this, I don't necessarily share. They're just for me and Dad. Some of them I do put on the Facebook page or the Instagram page, but you know, some pictures, like I said, are just for me, just for Dad. So we sure enjoy getting to cut these jobs like this. These bigger jobs. And anymore, you know, when you find 20,000 feet of walnut on a job, it's a big job of logs for anymore. These walnuts been hit so hard the last 10 or 15 years here in southwest Missouri that the bigger jobs are just, they're about a thing of the past. So anytime we come across the big one, we're pretty thankful to get it. The man, the myth, the legend himself. So Dad's going to go ahead and he's going to start marking up. I'm going to park this grapple skidder and I'm going to fire up the 333, let it be warming up. I want Dad to run the 500i, so we'll try to get some footage of him doing that. Start sorting these things out. Dad's still down there marking up. Here, when he gets done marking, I'll go down there and show him how to start that 500. I showed him yesterday, and I'm sure he remembers how, but I want to make sure. A few weeks ago, when we were logging behind the dozer that day, my suction cup phone mount that I usually put in the skid steer, well, it fell out of my pocket and I lost it. I haven't replaced it yet. I need to get on the internet tonight and order some stuff. Chaps, I guess I'll break down and buy a pair of chaps. You know, we've bought trucks, chainsaws, log loaders, building log beds, building truck beds. I'll probably have to finance a new pair of chaps because I'm about out of money. Somebody, I think it was Al, about throwing my chaps away when they've been cut into. Oddly enough, as ugly as my chaps are, I've never got into them with my chainsaw. What I do get into my chaps with, rose bushes, sawbriars, barbed wire fences, things like that are really hard on my chaps. I've had these chaps for 6 years. I actually bought these when I went to the NFPA cutting classes to get my certification in the state of Missouri. That was the first time I'd really ever worn chaps in my life. It was the kind of the spring and summer of 2015 there. And at first I didn't like them. They were uncomfortable. They were awkward. But after a while, I got to where I made myself start wearing them. And now, even when I'm running a skidder, I don't care if I'm just running a skidder, I've got my chaps on. And a lot of the reason is just because I keep my pants clean. My regular work jeans last a lot longer with my chaps. And the people who don't want to wear chaps, man, I don't knock you. That's your own choice, man. I didn't wear chaps for a long time. My dad doesn't wear chaps. He doesn't wear a hard hat. He never has. At 77 years old, he's probably not going to start now. You know, he's been in the logwoods on his own for 60 years. He went into business on his own when he was 17 years old. Before that, he logged with his dad. His dad passed away when he was pretty young. He had some uncles that logged. I think 2 or 3 of his uncles logged. So, just a different era of men, different breed of guys there. Definitely some guys like my dad. They're definitely just a tougher breed of man. We don't have men like that in the world anymore. So they don't want to wear that stuff. You don't want to wear that stuff. I'm not going to say anything. Like I said, it's your choice. And I think more people need to realize that, you know, just because other people don't do things that you do, you don't have to harp on them and run them down because of it. I mean, it's all personal preference and your choice. I didn't always wear my hard hat. I didn't always wear my chaps. I wear it all now. Like I said, even I'm wearing my chaps, my hard hat, and this skid steer. I just feel comfortable working in it. I feel naked when I go to work and I don't have it on. I've got to where I rather like wearing all of it. Dad's on that 500i, ripping along. Oh boy, booms up. Of course, now I got to do this deal. sitting on the log right there. Dad got done bucking. He's actually out kind of making sure we didn't miss anything, got all the trees cut. Just kind of riding around the property, the work area on the Ranger, double checking everything. It's always good to double check because sometimes I do miss logs. Sometimes we do miss trees that should be cut. So if you double check everything, you don't run as much risk as leaving stuff behind. So when he gets back, I'll ask him what he thinks of that 500. It looked like he was doing pretty good with it. I think he'll like it because it's a little lighter than those 661s. That's getting a little soft right there. So yeah, I think he'll like it because it's a little lighter than those 661s and still seems to have all the power. If not, maybe a little more. I definitely think he'll be probably getting one in the near future. Or ordering one, who knows when we'll get it. So puts the wraps on another job. I told you that a bit ago that Dad was went to scout trees. He drove around the farm and actually found 10 more trees, which is pretty significant, really. Most of them were on the other side of the creek up on the hill over there. There was only 3 on this side, and they were way up at the very far corner up there on this side of the creek where we hadn't really been. So it pays to kind of go back through and make double check and scout everything out, because we figured in those 10 trees there was probably about 1,700 board feet. So definitely worth going after. So that's a pretty good pile of logs there. I know we got around 20,000, and when I say around 20,000, I'm going to say a little better than 20,000 feet. It's a pretty good pile. So that's like I said, that's the wraps on another job. We have got the water oak left to cut here. Now we are going to cut some water oak on this job, and it may be as soon as next week. I don't know that yet. I need to get up to Higginsville, Missouri and put some trees on the ground up there, and that's kind of my priority. But we've actually I'm actually got some stuff going on this weekend with my 550 or 550s plural. So that'll be there'll be some videos for that coming up. But next week's kind of up in the air where we're going to be working at. I know they're calling for rain chances starting tonight into tomorrow. Should be done by noon, but pretty good chances of rain. Hopefully it doesn't amount to much, and I don't think it's supposed to, but right now anything is more than we need because the ground's still very saturated. You can see right over in there in that little low area of the drainage off this hill, we found some soft spots with the skid steer there, and that's never good. But as soon as all these logs are gone, we'll go back in with the bucket. We'll slick all this up, which we've still got some cleanup to do. I want to do some finesse work with the skid steer just to make sure everything's out of the field. The noise you're hearing over there is fertilizer trucks. They're spreading fertilizer on the farm here. There's over 360 acres on this farm, so it stretches a pretty good distance. Way to the north, well, you know, probably a mile to the north and half wide, I'm guessing, because a 320 would be, yeah, 320 would be a half by a full, and this is over 320, so big place, big place. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for following as always. Tomorrow's video is kind of up in the air. I don't know what we'll video, if we'll video much of anything yet, but we should have a pretty interesting weekend of videoing if all is that a word? If all goes right. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. I just about did, and I want to, but I'm not going to. I'll keep you in suspense. Anyway, I talked to Dad about the 500i when we went into lunch. He was pretty happy with it. He said it cut really good. He said it was cut really fast. He said the only thing he didn't like about it was how loud it was, which Dad's almost kind of hard of hearing. He's got very selective hearing. So, but I'll agree, I can definitely tell, and I think you guys can too in the video. You can definitely tell a difference in the way that 500i sounds versus the 661s. We don't tune or port or put different mufflers on our saws. Everything we run on the saw side's bone stock. That's the way we try to keep it. I personally like it. I can't tell it being any louder, but I do know it has a different tone or a different pitch to it. And you can definitely tell that in the videos. Good saws, though. I'm happy with it. I would say my next saw purchase will be another 500i, but to be quite honest, unless catastrophe strikes, I'm in no need for a new chainsaw anytime soon. Guys, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow. Later. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.